Well, hello, folks. It's just another beach day. Time to go to the beach, um, check it out north of Nazaré, see how things are up there, get some cafe food, clams, seafood, whatever. It's that time of year. Um, I just wanted to pop in real quick and talk about a couple of things I saw from Daniel Schmachtenberger recently. I reread his personal blog post about his father, what he learned from his father. I posted that at Globe Hackers Facebook, and it's really well worth reading, I think. There's a lot of values in there and lessons in there that are very good. Um, I think it's better than buying a Jordan Peterson self help book or going to a motivational seminar because it addresses pedagogy, and what that means and why it matters. And he also talks a lot lately about uh, Marcus Aurelius and how he was tutored, given the best teachers his whole life growing up, and what that did to formulate his values and philosophy and feelings and stoicism and everything else, leadership skills, the whole nine yards. And this is a good thing, but something we don't have now. So we have lots and lots of information, a big fire hose of info, and it's coming at us, but we don't know how to deal with it or digest it or interpret it or understand it. We don't have a wise teacher near us that's going to walk us through things and help us think things through for ourselves. Also, autodidacticism, his homeschooling, how he just went from one thing he was particularly interested in to another. And he had a sympathy for the integrative nature of things from a young age and so on. Anyway, it's all really good stuff. And for us who are trying to educate ourselves after we've been trained, you have to ask yourself, what's your education for? To get you a job to make you a lot of money so you can buy a lot of stuff, or to just be a clerk, uh, a paid staff member of the status quo of the great game and the players who play it. And of course, you have to get an education to learn how to play it. And depending on where you were born and when you were born and who your parents were or are, you're going to be focused on different things. You're going to be thinking about and acting differently. That's culture, personal, family, and broader culture, what you do and what you think. And you'll be influenced. So if your dad was a army vet and went to war, that'll influence you in one way or another. I'm not saying that veterans are all the same. They're not. They're full of all kinds of individuals with different opinions and perspectives. But if your dad was a lawyer and then became a corporate CEO or a senator or whatever, he's going to have different interests. And depending on how close you are with your family, you're going to pick up on those things. And it's going to determine to a great degree how you turn out and what you become later and what kind of education you seek or deem necessary. But the idea is that we can still, if we understand properly, um, seek out an education for ourselves that's based on things that we're truly interested in, and also find mentorship, find teachers, and find tutors and people that can help us understand and achieve what we want to in a given domain of interest. And that this should be a lifelong thing and that we should all give back. So, where you were tutored, you should become a tutor. And where you supported someone's quest for knowledge and understanding or skills, uh, you should also try to give back. And these are all great things, great values, and very important for today. Um, yeah, education's a thing. Obviously, I agree completely with the idea that the answer to the problems we face are all of the answers to the problems we face across domains, and that a lot of these problems we face are global problems requiring all hands on deck across nation states and across cultures, and that we can't maintain the kind of civilization that we have now forever because there are material constraints there that we can't ignore or avoid, unless somebody comes up with a replicator machine, and that's not going to happen. So if you are like me, a baby boomer, and were young, if you were young in the 1980s, you hit an astronomically improbable cache of good luck, because the 1980s was fun and relatively innocent and peaceful. And the sky was the limit. The future was bright, even moving into the 90s. It didn't really start to collapse for me until 2005, 8, where I started to really become more and more concerned about the nature of things in our civilization. But anyway, it's still, for me, it's fun. But just imagine how fortunate you are if you're born at this time, even in the 90s or 2000s or 2010s or whatever. It's never going to be this good anymore. It can only be better, but to be better, everything has to change quite a bit. And people have a hard time changing. So it's going to be an uphill slog, and it may seem more like the myth of Sisyphus rather than summiting Mount Everest at the end of the day. But we're going to need to learn more things, gather skills, be open-minded, try to see things from other people's points of view, cross-training in an educational sense, in a managerial sense, in that context, understanding what's required of people in different domains. If you don't understand theoretical mathematics, that's okay. You just need to know what it is and how difficult it is to be in that domain. So, and that goes across all domains. So you don't have to be an expert in corporate law to understand what it does. You can learn that. And then you can choose what to be an expert in while maintaining a good generalist attitude towards knowledge and understanding. And these are important things moving forward. You're going to need all the interpersonal skills, all of your skills and life lessons and wisdom and heart and desire and willpower to get through the future. And I'm talking about now, because whether you notice it or not, things are changing quickly, which means that we're going to have to be prepared to go with the flow and maybe go against the tide a bit to ensure that people playing the game are not so blind and myopic because they're playing the game that they're going to just wreck all the rest of us in the wake of their frenetic, greedy, possessed activities. Anyway, read that Schmachtenberger thing. He's still amazing. One thing that annoys me about it, though, he's at these talks in California or Connecticut or whatever beautiful place there is in the world. And all the guys are sitting on the audience on beanbag chairs with their smartphones and their cocktails. And they're all dressed really nice in linen and cotton and silk and whatever. And they're chilling, and they're all beautiful people, very white, very weird. And they're kind of half into it, half not. They're not rapt. They're kind of kicking back and chilling while he's talking about stuff. So that's the audience, right? Preaching to a choir that's not that interested because they're pretty well off. And although they want to do things, they want to put money in the plate, they're really not going to do anything to upset their comfort level, which is understandable. Then those of us who have to survive, just get by on making a living, We don't have any extra calories or money to go attend events like that and think about things like that. We have to put our calories right back into work and survival, like we did in the old days for hundreds of thousands of years. But yeah, I don't think that the old folks like me or that are interested in these things, or the comfort class, is going to have any effect on our future. We're just along for the ride. The young people, I don't know. I don't know if they can organize and understand and develop and create. I hope so. You know, the motives, the incentives, the values, they come from our world of abundance and a profits first mentality and extraction and production and consumerism. And, you know, those values are hard to shake, and those addictions are pernicious and very, very difficult to overcome. So think about those things, and, you know, how you educate yourself and your children. What do you want them to get a medal for at the end of the day? Killing Russians or something else? Do you want them to get a medal for spreading propaganda about how Chinese people are hardly human? And the CCP is just an evil organization, the evil empire, right? As opposed to the evil empire. People are people, man. Get that straight. I've lived in 7 countries. People are people. Culture, yeah, profoundly different. The way people experience pain, sadness, people's sense of humor, people's belief systems, all kinds of things are different, not just the way they dress or what they eat. And we're much more homogeneous across cultures than we ever were. But your blood and soil thing, you're not going to retreat into Virginia and figure out how to protect it from the Union today. The power is too great, and it's in the hands of a certain type of people. And you can't defend yourself from it. What you have to do is understand the system and the structure of the system and how to change it, develop something new. You don't have to break things. You don't have to burn cars in the streets. But you do have to work together, and you have to understand how things work. So, yeah, pedagogy and autodidacticism and ongoing education, mentorship, mentoring, tutoring, finding people who can help you and teach you, following your passion, your bliss, and being good at what you're passionate about because it's your calling, it's your vocation, and putting the time and the effort in there as you would, and then be willing to cross domains and cross-train a bit and understand and appreciate the effort that other people have put into their thing. Thank you for listening. I'm off to the beach. Buliam T, out.